What you're about to watch is part of an online training that I do twice a month inside my Movement Makers program, where I coach entrepreneurs like you how to build an online movement, how to make money from it, and use it to make a huge impact on the world. Enjoy. Super exciting topic today. The official name was Systems for Organization: What Apps, Services, Subscriptions, and Memberships Help You Manage Platforms and Content Efficiently. I'm going to switch that down to just systems and tools, make it a little bit easier for everybody to follow along. So we're going to talk about hiring. So my favorite place to hire is Upwork. When I first started my business, I thought I needed to have everybody local, everybody in an office. And I realized that one, my team wanted to travel and move around, and I did too. And so I started exploring different ways to be able to do things remotely. And Upwork used to be Odesk, which is what I got started on, and then moved to Upwork. And it's just a fantastic way to find people from around the world to be able to help you build and grow your business. And people work from their home or from a coffee shop or wherever they want to work from. And you can, post a job ad, and I can make an entire training if you guys are interested in how to hire properly through Upwork, but through any job recruitment site, because most people, I think, hire incorrectly. And you end up stuck with somebody who's just okay, as opposed to actually getting great talent. So if you've connected with Yelena, which you all have at some point, we found Yelena. Actually, we found her, are we saying boyfriend or fiance, on Upwork, and we hired him, and he started working with us. And then we had more work to do, and he suggested his girlfriend Yelena, so we brought Yelena on board. And Yelena started just doing administrative work behind the scenes. And then we said, hey, we'd love to bring you into Movement Makers and our YouTube Growth Bootcamp and be involved, more public facing, responding to our customers, because you're so warm and kind and personable and friendly, and got a big heart. And so let's try this. It's too much to go through in a couple minutes right now, but we can do an entire presentation on how to hire properly on Upwork. I'll give a super quick summary. You start with making a really ugly full paragraph job description. Don't make it easy to sort through. Inside you find a skill testing question, so for mine will be like, tell me how many YouTube subscribers I have on my channel, and put that in the first sentence of your application. Most people never even read it. And so this is where people waste time. You're spending all this time working on reading their resume when they haven't spent any time actually reading the job ad. And so if they don't lead with the skill testing question, I don't look at their resume. And then we go through, I don't do job interviews. There's no interview process. There's skill testing questions. Then we start immediately going into actually working together on a project that is related to what we're going to ultimately hire them to work on. Anyway, so it's ends up being a much faster process to get a right fit. And then it's a right fit, as opposed to hiring somebody. If you're hiring a bookkeeper, for example, the interview process doesn't train the right skill, right? Like how well a bookkeeper does in an interview isn't reflective of how good a bookkeeper they're going to be, right? Maybe things like, did they show up on time? But in terms of actually testing their skill set, so I want to do trial jobs with people. Anyway, we could dive all into that if you want, but much love to Yelena in the group, who came from Upwork. And most of my team, I think right now, unless it has to be somebody local, is on Upwork, right? So if I'm filming next week with Kevin O'Leary in downtown Toronto, and I've got my camera guy coming with me, right? I can't have that be on Upwork, right? But my editing team, my research team, my analytics team, my customer service team, most of administration team is on Upwork. And so fantastic place to hire. It works like an eBay system, if you haven't been on it, where everybody gets reviews. So I try to be a good employer too, and have good reviews on my profile, so that people want to apply, because it becomes important, right? At some point, when you build and scale, you can't do everything yourself. And a lot of times the work that you can outsource it to somebody who has their cost of living is a lot lower as well. So you don't necessarily need to hire an American for everything that you want to do. Some things might require it, but for the most part, a lot of things could be outsourced overseas as well. And people would rather work from home and not have to drive to some job that they hate, right? And hopefully you're a good boss and you're doing something that is trying to change the world and that people would want to be a part of, as opposed to just another boring job in whatever country people are coming from. So anyway, that's my quick rant on Upwork. And again, we can dive deeper if you like. Okay, next I'm going to jump to Fiverr. And Upwork, I think about people who I want to hire for long term. I want to, I love Yelena. I want Yelena to never leave. She might leave, but I want her to never leave, right? It's like, it's an ongoing project. I don't like Upwork for mini, tiny projects. I go to Fiverr for mini, tiny projects. So here are some examples of ones that I've done. Some of these are more funny because most of my hiring doesn't Upwork, but I made a video and I wanted a Morgan Freeman voice. So I hired somebody to record the video as Morgan Freeman. I then hired him to crank call my agent in New York and also my wife. Nina, remember that? I hired I hired this guy to make a video. And he sounds exactly like Morgan Freeman. And I hired him before that to call my agent Steve and pretend to be Morgan Freeman and say that Evan Carmichael said to say hi or something. I forget what he said. And then I asked him to record it, and so I got the MP3 of it. And then I had him and my agent, who's normally like this hardcore New York, take no prisoner kind of guy, was so soft and gentle, and it's like, oh my goodness, if this is really Morgan Freeman. And then I had him call my wife, Nina. I wish I still had the recording. Maybe I do. And she's like, who's this? Morgan Freeman? I don't know who this is. He's like, I'm an actor. And anyway, it's a hilarious call. So you can also get some fun stuff on there. For my book, The Top 10 Rules of Success, we had little caricatures done. Now I do a lot of cartoons on my social, right? If you see my Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, you'll see a lot of the Evan cartoons. But before that, I didn't feel like I had a need for somebody to do cartoons. Right now, my illustrator is on Upwork, and she's an ongoing role in my business. But when I did my Top 10 Rules of Success book, I wanted a caricature for each person that we had, because putting pictures inside books are sometimes it's hard to see properly on the inside pages. So we had caricatures. And so I wanted to hire somebody just for this one project. And so we paid whatever that was, $567 to get 40 different caricatures done, I think, inside the book. And then I had some fun ones, right? Climb a coconut tree and find a message there. So that might be just to recognize somebody on the team, right? It's like, happy 1 year anniversary. And it's like, you get this video of this guy climbing a coconut tree, and inside would be this custom message. And then another one, make a video rant telling your recipient I had their kid. And I just did this to spoof a friend. Just something funny where she made this video for my friend Louie to say, Louie, I had your love child and you have to now take responsibility for it. So there's a lot of fun stuff on here. I guess it shows behind the scenes kind of my sense of humor a little bit. But back to kind of serious business. Upwork, I think of ongoing projects for people, and Fiverr as one-off things that you may need. I wouldn't go to Fiverr for ongoing work. It's not the nature of the platform. So that's what I use for hiring. Really, those two. Upwork by far number one, and then Fiverr for these one-offs. And if you're looking for some funny, just random stuff, Fiverr is just super fun. One other thing that I could throw into the mix is, what's it called? I'm blanking now. Cameo. Cameo is a website where I haven't used it, but let me load it up here so you can see Cameo. I haven't hired anybody on here, but if you go to Cameo, you can hire these different people to say different things and get personalized messages. So some of them are bigger than others. Randy Travis, I love it. DJ Drama, Jesse Itzler, soccer players, wrestlers, the Seinfeld soup Nazi guy, just tons of people here. Let's say you wanted Kevin Conroy, best known as the voice of the animated Batman since 1992. So, you pay him $100 and then you see examples of what he's done. So birthday celebration, special message, ask him a question. Some people use this nefariously. I don't recommend it. So some people bought Kevin O'Leary, for example, to say, hey, you got to go watch Evan Tintzman. He's the best guy I know about how to overcome addiction, right? But Kevin doesn't, know Evan yet. And so I wouldn't use it that way, but it could be some fun content ideas or fun ways to surprise people on your team. I've been thinking about it as a way for potentially a new series of like, hey, tell me what your morning routine is, and getting a whole bunch of people to share their morning routine and then splicing that into video, but haven't pulled the trigger on it. If you want to watch the full 85-minute version of this video and train with me live twice a month to build your online audience, make money from it, and use it to change the world, you have to join my Movement Makers program. For more information, click the link right here below me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.